Gucci reigns supreme as the globe's most sizzling brand. Over its century-long journey, it's graced the wardrobes of monarchs, first ladies, and A-listers. Nowadays, it's not just a playground for the upper crust. It's the ultimate badge of prestige. And would you believe it all kicked off with a guy who washed dishes, waited tables, and rang hotel bells? Born on March 26, 1881, in the heart of Florence, Italy, Guccio Gucci was the son of simple merchants, hat makers to be exact. They envisioned him taking the reins, but fate had other plans. By his 17th birthday, the family business had tanked and the household was in shambles. Kicked out by his dad, Guccio set sail for England and landed a gig at London's swanky Savoy Hotel. There, he wore many hats: dishwasher, waiter, bellhop, and even elevator operator. This last job was a big deal. The Savoy was the world's first hotel to boast an electric elevator. It also gave Guccio a front-row seat to the lives of the rich and famous. What caught his eye? Their posh handbags and suitcases, which were more than mere accessories. They were status markers. He also picked up on their obsession with top-notch quality, regardless of the price tag. After saving up for a few years, Guccio headed back to Florence, took a job at an antique shop, tied the knot with a seamstress named Ida Cavelli, and started a family. But then World War I reared its ugly head, and Guccio was drafted. Lucky for him, he made it through and returned to a war-ravaged Florence. He landed a job at a leather goods company, where he learned the ropes of the trade. Before long, Guccio was tapped to manage a new store in Rome. Ida wasn't keen on leaving Florence, so he commuted. Each trip home fueled his desire to launch his own Florence-based shop. One fateful Sunday, while strolling with Ida, they stumbled upon a quaint shop for rent. It gave him the nudge he needed, and Guccio took the plunge, using their savings and a loan from a friend. He christened it Valigeria Guccio, later shortening it to just Gucci. Guccio curated a selection of leather bags and luggage from suppliers in Tuscany, Germany, and England. But he often found himself commissioning custom pieces. His Savoy stint had honed his instincts for what the well-heeled crowd would snap up, and his suppliers just weren't cutting it. Fed up, he opened his own workshop to craft and repair his wares. While his products gained traction among the wealthy tourists and local bigwigs, Guccio was privately floundering. The truth came to light when he couldn't hold back his tears any longer. He looked like a man staring down the barrel of a gun. One staffer later said, like countless entrepreneurs before him, Guccio faced the harsh reality of not turning a profit in the early years. Suppliers were hounding him for payment, and some customers were stiffing him. Cash-strapped and desperate, he confided in his family and team, "Unless a miracle comes through, I can't keep the doors open another day." Guccio's future son-in-law couldn't stand to see the man so downcast, like he was staring into the abyss. So, he offered a loan from the savings he'd set aside for marrying Grimalda, Guccio's daughter. Gratefully, Guccio accepted and soon paid back the loan, even managing to hire a team of skilled artisans. Each craftsman was responsible for creating a product from scratch, sometimes assembling up to 100 different pieces in a laborious 10-hour process. As Guccio's empire expanded, Italy's political landscape shifted. Sanctions from various countries hit hard, making it difficult for Guccio to source leather. To keep his dream alive, he innovated crafting bags and luggage from a mix of canvas and leather. He also diversified, adding belts, wallets, and even shoes to his repertoire. His loafers, adorned with a gilded snaffle, were a world first. Meanwhile, Guccio's son, Aldo, had grand visions. Having traveled Europe, he saw a global appetite for Gucci. Despite his father's initial resistance, Aldo secured a bank loan and convinced Guccio to open a second store in Rome. This move proved providential when World War II broke out. The Roman store became a hotspot for soldiers looking for gifts to send home. Post-war, Guccio hustled to secure loans and keep both stores afloat. Despite material shortages, his team continued to innovate, even introducing bamboo-handled bags made from pigskin. By the early 50s, a third store sprang up in Milan. Aldo and his brothers, Rodolfo and Vasco, had bigger plans. They jetted off to New York, securing a spot just off Fifth Avenue. Guccio was livid when he found out, but eventually relented. Little did his sons know, this would be one of his final acts for them. A year later, the first American Gucci store opened, attracting the likes of Queen Elizabeth II, Princess Grace, and Jackie Kennedy. But celebrations were short-lived. Guccio passed away suddenly, leaving the empire to his sons. Grimalda, whose husband had once saved the business, was left with nothing and lost a legal battle for her share. The brothers carried on. Aldo expanded globally, while Rodolfo managed Milan and Vasco oversaw the Florence factory. Gucci loafers, initially snubbed by Aldo, became a sensation, even finding a fan in Frank Sinatra. Over the years, the brand continued to flourish, opening stores worldwide and diversifying into clothing, perfumes, and watches. But family drama resurfaced. After Vasco's death, his shares went to his widow, Maria. Aldo and Rodolfo bought her out, later dividing some shares among their sons. Yet tensions escalated. Giorgio opened a rogue store. Paolo exposed Aldo for tax evasion, and Maurizio, inheriting half the company, ousted Aldo. Hungry for power, Maurizio sought to buy out his family. Despite skepticism due to family infighting, investment firm Investcorp took the gamble. Maurizio succeeded in buying out his family but led Gucci into financial ruin. Investcorp intervened, forcing Maurizio out. Tragically, he was later found murdered, a plot orchestrated by his ex-wife. The mantle of Guccio's legacy then fell on Investcorp and their new creative director, Tom Ford. Ford revamped Gucci's image, turning it into a Hollywood darling and a financial powerhouse. Today, valued at over $17 billion, Gucci stands as the world's most sought-after luxury brand, appealing even to younger generations. So there you have it. The saga of how a humble dishwasher built a billion-dollar empire that weathered wars, bankruptcy, and family feuds. If you're keen to hear more about the outsider who catapulted Gucci to even greater heights, hit that like and subscribe button.